Greetings. This is Robert Lyon, lead designer for RTL Games, and we're going to be showing you a bit of a prototype we're currently working on. It should be in from the printer, I would say, Tuesday of next week. Again, it's June 1st right now. Anyways, this game is called Combat Drone. I was trying to figure out a way in which we can incorporate a number of different game mechanics into a single game and make it a bit more interesting to play. And with this one, one of the parts of the background story is that people are trying to mine and get resources from foreign planets. They take forever, centuries to get there. So the plan is that they would send a unmanned vehicle to a distant planet. They would be able to build a drone on site, load it with an AI that can do basic maintenance tasks, moving, repairing itself, doing sensor sweeps, and so on. And then there'd be a human operator at Earth who would actually be operating the drone with supplemental instructions. So you basically have two things going at once. You have a drone, again, this is just a quick icon that we're using here, and then you have the console that the operator will be working off of, which generally has tracks of energy and damage and so on. We actually have different tools we're using for this once it gets back to the printer, but for playtesting sake, we printed up something for just simplicity's use. So what happens is you have a rondel, which is just a set of instructions that the droid will be working off of. This is really what it looks like in larger scales. You can see that on each turn, it will move from one instruction to the next. But the twist is that you actually get 3 action phases per turn, which means you can spend 2 to go from, say, debug to move and just skip sensor sweep entirely. Or you can play one of these cards, which is a supplemental instruction by the human counterpart to the AI to say, hey, go do this various tasks. So you can basically, fire weapons. It can repair itself. It has an onboard 3D printer. Again, part of the backstory is that these are made of graphene, and then you can just basically 3D print it to replace broken parts and whatnot. Again, you can do additional taps to move. You can recharge. And batteries are something that's interesting here. We decided not to use the traditional battery pack, and instead we're using a capacitor. A capacitor can discharge higher amounts of energy. It's faster to recharge. It basically supplies more juice, but in a shorter period of time, and it can't store it for as long as other things such as batteries and whatnot. So on board you have solar panels. You can basically flower out and charge up your drone. There's a small onboard generator which also does its thing. So really what you can do is you're going to burn 1 energy per turn. So you can basically get down to 3, but half your energy is going to burn up in almost 1 turn. And you can recharge that by just not taking all your turns, or you can take one of your turns to recharge, or via the rondel, you can, when it goes to a mandatory recharge, you can just have the AI just do it on its own. So there's a number of maintenance tasks by which the AI will, take an action on its own without your involvement whatsoever. Again, you can have it skip steps if you want to go that route, or you can give it supplemental instructions to go do its thing. So that was an interesting game mechanic that we came up with. When we get back to the printer, hopefully we'll be able to show you a bit more about what we got going on with this gameplay and so on. But for the moment, this is the basic map that we have. Again, we're using hex rules. They should be more easier. And again, we're using 6-sided dice, so that's also again easy to get into. The goal of all these things is that we're trying to make what were back in the 80s the packet games. So very small, very easy to play, but also very detailed and has enough fun packed into it so that you'll be able to play with your friends without having to have massive setups and painting all these miniatures and whatnot. So this is, again, the game you play before you get into the big games, or if you just want to goof off with your friends and have a good time, this is a great way to do it too. So again, when it comes back to the printer next week, I'll show you a bigger demo of how this whole thing works. But in the meantime, this is Robert Lyon, lead designer for RTL Games. Again, hoping you're having a great beginning of summer right now, and as always, happy gaming.